College Football Program Rankings 2023, courtesy the Voice of College Football. Please like the video. Even if you don't agree with me, if you enjoy the conversation, please hit the like button. Subscribe right here at the Voice of College Football. Turn on that bell for the notifications to know when we go live. If you are coming across our content for the first time, kick back and bask in the best discussion, debate, and analysis of college football based on your engagement and participation. All right, let's get to it. Program rankings. Let's not confuse this with team rankings for 2023. The individual team that's going to play solely this fall and how good those teams are. That has a lot to do with it, but we're looking at, of course, where these programs stand in 2022 and the recent history. This is also not a all-time ranking. We will do those in the next 4 to 6 weeks. This is all about 2023 and moving forward. So the trajectory of the program. Who's the coach? How good is the coach? The coaching staff. The administration in regards to running a football program. The brand name, the football program. The resources they have. The facilities. The recruiting footprint. And how good they recruit football talent. All of that taken into consideration, and also in this unstable landscape of college football, conference affiliation matters. Let's get to our program rankings. Starting at number 133 and new to the FBS is Sam Houston. They will belong to Conference USA in 2023. They open with this slate, BYU, Air Force, and Houston. Then they take on Jacksonville State, so we're going to find out pretty early who is the best of the newcomers. Sam Houston went 5-4 in 2022. They lost to Texas A&M by 31. They did not play an FBS team in 2021 or 22 otherwise. They beat James Madison, who turned out to be a really good FBS team and newcomer in 2022. That game was played back in 2020. But until we get more information on Sam Houston State, let's place them at 133, followed by Jacksonville State with a bit of a nod over Sam Houston. The Gamecocks moved to FBS here in 2023 under Rich Rodriguez, former West Virginia and Arizona and Michigan coach. 9-2 in his first season. They lost to Tulsa by 37. This school has won 25 conference championships. And remember, they beat Florida State 20-17 on that Hail Mary play at the end of the ball game in 2021. They did lose to UAB in that same season, 31-0 at number 132, Jacksonville State. At number 131, the worst of the existing teams in the FBS. Poor UMass. They don't really have a home. They're an independent. Why are they even playing big boy football? 1-11 this past season under Don Brown. 3-37 the past 4 seasons. Never have had a winning season since joining the FBS in 2012. At number 131, UMass. At number 130 in our program rankings, a notoriously horrible program in Texas El Paso. The Miners under Dana Dimmel showed a little bit of life in 2022 with 5 wins. They last won a conference championship. It was the WAC back in 2000. Our number 130 program, UTEP, moving all the way up to number 129 in our program rankings. Old Dominion coming off a 3-9 campaign. They did defeat Virginia Tech. That shows you how bad the Hokies were this past season. Ricky Ronnie, 9-16 with ODU since coming in from Penn State. This program joined the FBS in 2013. They moved to the Sun Belt in 2022. They've got a lot of work to do. They're at number 129. At number 128, a program that has basically been abysmal ever since they started the program. I remember watching this team play at the old Rubber Bowl back in the 1980s under Jerry Faust when they broke the bank to bring in the former Notre Dame coach, and it did not work out. The Akron Zips are coming off a 2-10 season with former Mississippi State head coach Joe Moorhead at the helm. The Zips joined the FBS in 1987. They went to the MAC in 1992. They did go to the MAC championship game in 2005 and finished 7-6 that particular season. They play in a pretty sizable town. They've got a brand new stadium, Infocision Stadium, but nobody cares. Akron is at number 128. We're going to hang out in New Mexico for the next couple selections. At number 127, we've got the Lobos of New Mexico coming off a dreadful 2-10 campaign. Danny Gonzalez is the head coach and may not be for long. He's 7-24 in his last 31 starts. Bob Davie, of course, was the coach from 2012 through 2019. The former Notre Dame head coach could not bring winning to this football program. At 35-64, the Logos are just awful throughout their history, and they're at number 127. One spot better, we'll put that in quotes, is number 126, but there's some hope with a competent, capable football coach in Jerry Kill at New Mexico State. They're coming off a 7-6 campaign. Kill, of course, did a nice job at Minnesota. It was their first winning season since 2002. They've got a 40% winning percentage in their history. It's New Mexico State, number 126 in our rankings. Up to number 125, and this is probably the first program that has had sustained success in their history, and that's Nevada, coming off a 2-10 campaign under Ken Wilson. Yes, Chris Auld is the guy that, of course, had the most success between 1976 and 2012 in 3 different stints in Division II. Nevada has played well and been a factor in the Mountain West, but not recently. We've got the Wolfpack at number 125. We're going to continue to live in the MAC, Conference USA, and a little bit of Mountain West as we go to number 124 and Bowling Green. Coming off their first postseason appearance since 2015. How about that? When they won the MAC championship, Scott Loeffler is only 12-26, but again, they got to postseason play and finished at 6-7 with a bowl loss this past season. At number 124, the Falcons of Bowling Green. Urban Meyer lifted this program to 17 wins in 23 games before he was off to Utah about 20 years ago. At number 124 is Bowling Green. We move it on up to number 123 in a program that's been in the Sun Belt since 2013, and that's Texas State, coming off a 4-8 campaign. Jake Spavital did not get the job done, and he was shown the door after 13 wins in 48 games. And G.J. Kinn is next in line for Texas State at number 123. Our number 122 team, a very interesting situation here. You've got a successful head coach at the collegiate level and in the NFL, coaching the 122nd ranked program in the country, and that's actually a big improvement. How about those Huskies of UConn and Jim Mora? Jim Mora to the rescue. This was maybe the worst FBS program in the nation when Mora took them over. They were awful. They didn't play football in 2020. He remarkably got them to a bowl game this past season at 6-7. Of course, we know this program can compete. It is possible in Connecticut. Randy Edsall did it back in the 2000s. He led them to a Fiesta Bowl in 2010. They were a factor for a handful of years in the Big East and went to postseason play fairly regularly back then. So Jim Moore's got something going at UConn, and they are number 122 in our Voice of College Football program rankings. At number 121, you can't lose to Rice, of course. 5-8 this past season. They played 13 regular season games. How about that? They love to play football. Mike Bloomgren has been there for several seasons now. He's 16-39, but they are getting better. They are historically awful, one of the worst programs in the country. They had their last winning season in 2014. We've got Rice at number 121. We have reached the number 120 position with Charlotte. Biff Poggi is in his first season taking over a 3-9 program. They've had one winning season in FBS. That's 7-6. And they're 29-62 since their first winning season that we alluded to in 2015. So this has been a down, trodden program, but they have defeated some Power 5 teams along the way, mostly in the ACC. We've got Charlotte at number 120. Up to number 119, and kind of a wild card selection when there was discussion about Mountain West teams being plucked up by the Pac-12 because of the location, of course, with the running Rebels of UNLV. 5-7 this past season, but they've got a new slate with Barry Odom taking over, the former Missouri head coach. This program started in 1968, and they have been completely awful since 1981. I mean, one of the worst programs in college football. But again, they've got a quality head coach, at least for this level, and they're coming off a 5-win campaign, and they play in a good location that could attract some recruits. And if college football expansion continues, could put them in a decent place to move up to a better conference at some point. At number 119, we've got UNLV. Next up on our Voice of College Football program rankings for 2023 is Louisiana Monroe, coached by Terry Bowden. The last time I saw Terry Bowden, he was coaching the Akron Zips, and he took the Zips to a MAC championship game. Terry Bowden had a great run about a lifetime ago in the early 90s at Auburn, had an undefeated season on the Plains in 1993. Okay, he takes over a program that went 4-9 this past season. They've last had a winning season in 2012, 36-74 for ULM since then. Bad program, but quality head coach near the end of his run, of course, here in 2023. At number 118, it is Louisiana Monroe. At number 117, this is a program that about 15 years ago, under Jim Leavitt, rose to number 2 in the nation. And it's, of course, the Bulls of South Florida. But they've been awful the past 5 or 6 seasons. They're trying to find a coach, and they're giving Alex Golesh a shot after a 1-11 season under Jeff Scott. 8-37 this team, and they have been competitive. They were a good program for a certain number of years in the Big East, and since then in the American Conference. But, man, horrible run with 37 losses in 45 games since 2019. Really good program again under Leavitt, and since then, why can they not be the first UCF or the next UCF? They were the first UCF to a certain extent. South Florida, 1-11, but there is potential there. They're in a great recruiting state, of course, and they are in the American Conference. At number 117, the Bulls of USF. Next on our rankings is a program that had been rock solid for years and years and years, meaning 15 years under the same head coach who was highly successful, Ken Niumatalolo, with Navy experiencing its best success since the Roger Staubach days of the early 1960s when they went to the Cotton Bowl and he won the Heisman Trophy. Niumatalolo was shown the door after several losing seasons, although he went 109-83, so he won 26 games over 500, but had a bad run at the end. Now it's up to Brian Newberry, the defensive coordinator, taking over as head coach to lift the midshipmen back to postseason play. They went 4-8 last season, and Navy is number 116 in our rankings. At number 115, we go to the Rams of Colorado State, coming off a awful 3-9 season under Jay Norvell. Sonny Lubick, of course, had the big run for this program all the way to 2007. 108-74. This program's only won 47% of its games all time, and the Rams not in a good place right now at number 115 on our rankings, Colorado State. We go back to the MAC and Eastern Michigan, the first of the Michigan directional schools to show up. And of course, you don't want to show up early in the series here because the rankings go from the bottom to the top. But Eastern Michigan is coming off a fine 9-4 season under Chris Creighton. So Creighton's had a bad run at Eastern Michigan, but the good 9-4 season. Before that, 46-61. And with a MAC Conference championship game appearance, they've got a 45% winning percentage all time at Eastern Michigan. Not a good program historically, but coming off a nice season at number 114 is Eastern Michigan. Let's just go ahead and group these directional schools together from the great state of Michigan. Central Michigan, 4-8 under Jim McElwain, and of course the former Florida Gators coach. He's 24-21. They've won 7 MAC championships since 1979. The last one, though, was 16 years ago in 2007. Central Michigan at number 113. Action's so just damn fun. Let's just stay right with the Mid-American Conference. Kent State at 5-7, number 112 in our rankings, near and dear to my heart, of course. This has been an awful, awful football program for its entirety. Ken Burns is the latest to try to get it jump-started. Despite its terrible history, one of the worst in the FBS, it's amazing the players and coaches that have been produced by Kent State. Don James, Lou Holtz, Nick Saban, Jack Lambert, James Harrison, Antonio Gates, Josh Cribbs, Julian Edelman. I could go on. It's unbelievable, but they can't put all those guys together. They've got them spread out over 50 years. Kent State's at number 112. At number 111, we go to the Sunshine State and Florida International. Mike McIntyre, who last won a division championship with Colorado, remember, in 2016. He's had stops all over the place as a coordinator since, is the head coach there. FIU coming off a 4-8 season. This program started in 2002. They are, get this, 88 games under 500 since. At number 111, FIU. Back to the MAC at number 110. And we'll be done with the MAC here pretty soon because, of course, they're not going to rank very high. Northern Illinois coming off a 3-9 season, 15-18 under Thomas Hammock. But this is a program that's been highly successful in this conference. They've got 5 conference championships since 2011 under 3 different head coaches that obviously moved on to greener pastures. NIU, down now, but they've shown the commitment and the potential to win in this conference. At number 110, Northern Illinois. At number 109, we go to Western Kentucky. Of course, we saw Bailey Zappi light up the skies for 61 touchdown passes a couple seasons ago. They're coming off a 9-5 season under one Tyson Helton, who's 32-21. Has had respectable back-to-back 9-5 seasons. So Western Kentucky winning football games. The Hilltoppers come in at number 109. At number 108, we go to Georgia State. 4-8, 34-38 under Sean Elliott. They are 2-2 in bowl games. They are getting to bowl games. They started this football program only in 2010. They're in the Sun Belt Conference, and they're competitive, going to postseason play just about every year. At number 108, Georgia State. More action with Miami of Ohio. Tremendous football history there. Not very good right now. They did go to a bowl game this past season under Chuck Martin, but he's only 39-53. 6-7 this past season. But this is the cradle of coaches. This is a tremendous, historic program. This school has produced Woody, Bo, Bill Mallory, Dick Crum, Randy Walker, Chuck Martin. Could you be the next? Miami of Ohio is at number 107. At number 106, let's go to David Letterman's favorite school in Muncie, Indiana. That, of course, the Cardinals of Ball State. 5-7 this past season. Mike New is the head coach. Still, despite 12 games under 500 at 33-45, they won the MAC in 2020. Abbreviated season, a bit questionable. And after joining FBS play in 1981, not very good for the Cardinals of Ball State, but they rank at number 106. Let's continue our rankings here at the Voice of College Football. Please like the video, share the videos out on social media, and subscribe. Arkansas State. Tremendous run that they've had recently since the year 2000, but currently down. Butch Jones. He won more games than Tennessee in the SEC than he's winning at Arkansas State. 5-17, 3-9 this past season. After the Blake Anderson success, Gus Malzahn, Brian Harsin, Hugh Freeze, they won the inaugural Sun Belt in 2001 after they moved into FBS play in 1992. At Arkansas State, they have shown that they can win in the past. They got to get a good head coach. Is that Butch Jones? Well, he's probably got one more try. After losing 17-22 games, we've got Arkansas State at number 105. At number 104, poor Temple. They play in Philadelphia in NFL City. Their program goes way, way back, of course. Stan Drayton's the current head coach, 3-9 this past season. They play in the American Conference. They, of course, were in the Big East at one time. They've had guys like Al Golden, Steve Adazio, Matt Rule find some success and then move on. Again, NFL City and Stadium just doesn't have a collegiate feel there in Philadelphia. Temple at 3-9 and number 104 in our Voice of College Football rankings. We march on with our program rankings at number 103 in Middle Tennessee, coming off an 8-5 season, Hawaii Bowl champions, and they wanted rings. Listen to this. Rick Stockstill, Florida State alum, has been coaching there a long time. He's only 3 games over 500, but has kept his job at Middle Tennessee. 102-99. Had not won a conference championship since the year of 2006. And he got that accomplished, but it's been marginal since then. However, this past season, of course, they had the win against Miami. Rick Stockstill hates Miami, FSU guy. And so they had rings made proclaiming their Hawaii Bowl championship, but also the final score of the win against Miami at number 103, Middle Tennessee. San Jose State's coming off a 7-5 season under head coach Brent Brennan, but before that, he only won 20 games out of 57. So maybe they're turning the corner. They did win the Mountain West Conference in a bit of a fluke in 2020. Don't want to take that away from them, but still, they were bad before that and bad after. But again, 7-5 this past season. This program's been bad for decades. San Jose State, though, on a good run at 7-5 at number 102 in our ranking. Time for the Mean Green at number 101. And after being led by Seth Luttrell, who had a nice run, faltered near the end, finished at 500 at 44-44. It's time for a new sheriff in town. He is one Eric Morris, who was the Washington State offensive coordinator and also head coach at Incarnate Word. Yes, they had a nice run under Seth Luttrell. They've moved in from Conference USA in 2013 to the American Conference now. They went to a conference championship game in 2022, but now it's on to the American Conference to make up for the losses of Houston and Cincinnati and UCF. Our number 101 team is coming off a 7-7 season. It's the Mean Green of North Texas. Let's finish off our plus 100 program rankings here at the Voice of College Football with a little sunshine, a little aloha, a little island feel with Hawaii and Timmy Chang coming off a 3-10 season. If nothing else, I admire the Rainbow Warriors, whatever they're called these days, for playing more regular season games than just about anyone. They have 15-game seasons under their belts in recent history, and here they played a 13-game regular season. Timmy Chang took over for Todd Graham after his big fallout and misdeeds. They had 19 guys transfer. They can win. This has been a good football program that generally goes to postseason play. And, of course, they had their heyday under June Jones and met up with Georgia in the 2008 Sugar Bowl when they were undefeated. They've had a very interesting history. And, again, they play a lot of games, so we like them. Hawaii, number 100. Those are the Voice of College Football program rankings, numbers 100 plus. Stay tuned for numbers 51 through 99. That's going to be the next in the series. Please leave your comments below where we missed it, where we screwed up, where we hit it dead on. Again, program rankings, not team rankings for 2023. These are program rankings for 2023 and beyond right here at the Voice of College Football. We'll see you with numbers 51 through 99.